I can't go to the gym. Why? Oh, because it's far away and my leg hurts and I don't have a membership. Once you run out of excuses, what's left? Action. You're going to end up in the gym. Action remains when you run out of excuses. I've said for a very long time, I don't use excuses. I talk in binaries. I succeeded or I failed. I didn't say I failed because... No, I failed. I should have done better.
People ask me, how do you get rich? You do this and you work. Oh, but that won't work for me because they are saying that so they do not have to actually do the work. That's what they're trying to do. Trying to avoid the brutal realities of life. There's nowhere to hide. The only thing that is guaranteed in this life besides death is constant, endless, never-ending work. You're sitting around on your fucking ass, doom scrolling and jerking off to porn, and then you have the audacity to ask me why you're not where you want to be in life. Because men like me are going to take everything and not even leave you with scraps. There's not even going to be a little piece of meat on the carcass because you're too busy fucking jerking off and chasing around women who are too good for you in the first place. The only way you're going to have anything in this life is to wake up and to suffer the brutal realities of endless effort and to win by force. That's the answer to how you get the girls you want. That's the answers to how you get rich. It's the answer to how you get in shape. It's the answer to how you become motivated. I can be motivated to do anything because I force myself. I can blink and cure my brain and be endlessly, permanently motivated to achieve the most mundane and boring and insignificant of tasks. You can't motivate yourself to even get in the gym and have a body people admire you for. You can't motivate yourself to be sexually desirable. And then you want to sit here and ask me questions about how you get a woman. You can't motivate yourself to get up and log in and dedicate yourself so you can finally have some money. The dream is not to have a Lambo. The dream is to have a mother who isn't worried about hospital bills. The dream is to be able to travel around the world because there's a place you want to see before you die. The dream is to not have that depression on a Sunday night because you have work on a Monday morning. The dream is to have a car that works, and if it breaks down, you can afford to pay it. And to achieve this dream, you do not have to go and die in a ditch. You do not have to climb Mount Everest. You have to open up a laptop and type, and you still fail. You don't have the motivation to type on a keyboard to achieve your dreams, and you think I can fix a fucking loser like you? Make a list of all the things you would do if you were guaranteed to win. 100%. A genie appears and says to you, the next 10 activities you partake in have a 100% success rate. If you enter the cage, you're going to win. 100%. You get to say you're a cage fighter for the rest of your life. Everyone wants to be a cage fighter. There's not a man alive who doesn't want to be a cage fighter, but most men are too scared, so they just cope and go to the gym and lift weights and try and look like a cage fighter without actually being a cage fighter because they're afraid, because they're cowards. But you, if you get in there, are guaranteed to win. You're guaranteed to have that reputation for the rest of your life. It's a guaranteed win. If you start a company, it's a guaranteed win. You're going to get paid. It's going to be successful. You're going to be a millionaire. Guaranteed. Make a list of the 10 things you do if they were guaranteed wins. And once that list is made, look in the mirror and decide to give them 100% of your effort, all of your heart and soul. You're going to try your very best. You're going to keep your mind open, keep your heart open, keep your energy levels high, and you're going to dedicate yourself until the end of the year. Before Christmas comes, you're going to give them everything you've got. You're going to agree you want to do a cage fight. You're going to go train with everything you got. You're going to agree you're going to launch a business. You're just going to sit there and promise to give 100% of yourself to the 10 things you definitely would do if you had a 100% guaranteed victory at the end of it. And if you do all of that, I guarantee you 2026 will be the most fantastic year of your life. Because the most unknown secret of the universe is that you are guaranteed to win everything if you try your best. People always talk about if you try your best, it's okay to fail. It doesn't matter if you fail, if you tried your best. But they don't talk about the real secret of the universe. The real secret of the universe is this. If you try your best, you never fail. So I am the genie. I have appeared. I am giving you the 100% guarantee that anything you try, you are going to win at. I'm giving you the 100% guarantee you can be a millionaire, you can be a figure skater, you can be anything. You can climb Mount Everest, anything you want to do. You can have the best reputation on the planet, you can be famous, you can have all the women, you can have 10 sons, you can have anything you want. I guarantee it to you. I'm the genie. I promised it to you. All you have to do is write them down on a piece of paper and promise yourself you're going to try.
The number one thing holding you back is that you've become so ridiculously spoiled. You believe if you do some work, you deserve to be paid. And you want to know exactly how much you're going to be paid, and you want to know when the money is going to come before you do the work. This is how your mindset works. Yes, I can go try at something as long as I'm going to be given what I want in return, as long as I'm going to get it on the day I want, and as long as I get enough remuneration for me to feel like my effort was worthwhile, then I can go and try at something. You cannot try at anything without the guarantee of that remuneration. That is your problem, and that is why you're spoiled. You do know most people who have ever achieved anything in the world have put in thousands of hours of work into something without any guarantee they're going to get paid, without any guarantee anybody's going to know their name, without any knowledge of when a repayment would come, if it comes at all. They took a leap of faith. They believed in themselves, and more importantly, they believed in the work. I'm going to do all this work because I believe in the end the universe will give me what I deserve, and the universe always does. But you can't do that because you cannot go to the gym and train like an animal. You cannot begin a business and dedicate 100% of yourself. You can't learn something new. You can't do anything because you're sitting there wondering, well, if I do this, when do I get paid? Without that answer, without someone's coming along and promising you X amount of money on X date, you won't work. Whereas a winner will work anyway because they believe in the work. Work works. And if you believe that work works, you do the work and you let the work work. And before you know it, you get paid. So you are ridiculously spoiled. Stop worrying about when you're going to get your remuneration. Stop worrying about when all of this is going to pay off. Stop worrying about when it's going to be worth it. Forget all of that. Find work worth doing and focus on the work because work works. Do you understand?
All of your life will be instantly fixed if you start to actually care about the outcomes and blame yourself for all of these things. You can get rich anytime you want. You can get a brotherhood anytime you want. You can have a woman who respects you more than she respects the bullshit ideas she sees on her TV screen anytime you want. There's nothing you cannot do. You can have anything you have ever wanted anytime you want, as soon as you give a shit, blame yourself, and put some work in. And this is why I said at the beginning, the only way I have ever won anything in my life is by force. It's all I know how to do. It is all I have ever done, is to look at the insurmountable task ahead of me, to look at the large, huge mountain which has never been climbed before, and one step at a time, with an iron mind which will not bend, remaining completely unfazed, put one foot in front of the other until one day I wake up and I'm at the top of the fucking hill. There is no easy way to get anything else done ever.
God is watching and he rewards those who want it the most. If you want it the most, you can have it. You have to want it the most and genuinely do your best because most people aren't capable of doing their best anymore. That is the secret. You cannot fail if you try your best. So if you don't have the car you want, the woman you want, the house you want, you haven't been trying your best. Because I guarantee you the second you do, you'll have all of it. Oh, but I need time to myself. Oh, but it's the evening. Or, it's hyper competitive. There's a guy in Islamabad who'll do your job online for $3 an hour and he doesn't sleep. You're going to lose. If you were to take somebody who says, I'm doing my best, I'm really trying, and you were to get an exact schedule of their last week and find all the times they've wasted time, most of those people are not even self-reflective enough to go, you're right, I'm not trying my best. You know what they'd say? Well, I have to have a social life. I have to, you're crazy. And then they go back to being a loser. They don't give a solitary fuck. And even if you pointed it out to them, they'd sit there and go, oh yeah, and they'd make some excuse for it. So if you're not the person who's waking up every day going, how do I improve my existence? Then nobody on the planet is considering improving your one spin on Earth. So if you don't care, then you're fucked. I don't believe there's a person on the planet who pays attention, tries their best, works hard, has a mentor, and is giving it his all, who isn't rich. And if you don't have any money, you're missing one of those key elements. Now you can fool yourself and you can fool everyone else, but if you're truly honest with yourself, am I finding people who are trying to teach me what I want to know, and am I trying my best? If someone were to say to you right now, you can choose any emotion from the menu, would you choose happy? Let's say I gave you a menu of emotions and said, choose an emotion. You're not going to choose sad, who would, right? Choosing happy can be just as destructive also, because if your only desire is to be happy regardless, no matter what it takes, that's when you're going to eat the cake, because the cake will make you happy. That's when you're going to take the drugs. Going to the club makes you happy. It's all dumb shit. If you were to choose proud, if you were to choose a different emotion or a different feeling inside, you would have no interest in these things. So I don't wake up and think, how do I feel happy? I wake up and say, how can I be proud of myself? What can I achieve that makes me proud of myself? How can I do things that make other people respect me and are proud of me? How do I live a life so my children look at me and go, Dad's a superhero? How do I make my mother call me and say, I couldn't possibly be more proud of you? Tell me something in the last 48 hours you've done that's worthy of pride. For me, happiness is not a good indicator on how life should be lived. You shouldn't wake up and say, how happy am I today? How does that affect how I act? I wake up and say, what must be done? What will allow me to be proud of myself? What will allow me to achieve? And those things will be done regardless of how I feel. The most successful people on earth don't only do things because they feel happy about doing them. Nobody cares about men being happy. We talk about women being happy. We want children to be happy. If you look at a full-grown man on Christmas morning, he's smiling because his wife is smiling. He's smiling because his children are smiling. Nobody cares about men being happy. I'm a very content person. I live a fantastic life, but I don't wake up and go, I want to be happy today. No, sir. I wake up and say, okay, things must be done. You can lock me in a dungeon for an unknown amount of time, and I will still complete as many push-ups as I can possibly do in the dark by myself. What else am I going to do? Sit there and be sad? It's called duty. It's called honor. It's called pride. If you had these things, you would never do dumb shit in the first place. The most ironic thing about all of this is that if you don't prioritize happiness and you prioritize feeling proud of yourself, you end up happy by extension. If I would have chosen to try and be happy, I would have never ended up happy. In my experience of life, there's only one way to deal with anything. Doesn't matter if you're heartbroken. Doesn't matter if you're sad. Doesn't matter if your bank balance is low. Doesn't matter if you go to jail. Doesn't matter what it is. The answer to everything is always the same. Hard work. The worse things are, the harder I will work. Jail changed me and I had some trouble in there. Since I've left jail, I can't sleep. I have nightmares. I could sit around and complain about being tired. I could sit around and be a bitch. I could sit around and cry, or I could just work harder than I have ever worked. It's fantastic that I can't sleep. That's all the time I need. So my point is the answer is always hard work. I'm struggling with something. I'm going to work less. Does that make sense to you? How's that going to fix anything? What else am I going to do? Sit around and mope like a dummy? The answer is always hard work. Anyone who's watching this, no matter what problem you're facing in your life, there's only one answer: work. If you're always working as hard as possible, it's actually very difficult for bad things to actually catch up with you. You can take the antidote before the poison. Most people don't even work very hard. You people at home, you think you work hard. You could work a lot harder. This is important, especially if you are at home and you're not yet as successful as you want to be. If you don't have your life in exactly the place you want it, if you still feel trapped, whether it's financially or some other way, you wake up and you must be dreaming of freedom. But when your eyes open after the disappointment, swallow the disappointment, take a minute and look around you and say, I deserve more than this. But then what's the important point? You must begin to work. If you stop caring about being happy and you start caring instead about being great, guess what you end up being? Along with great. You end up happy if you forget about happiness and try to become great. You will never be successful if you're concerned about being happy, so forget about it.
This is the difference between the good and the great. The good, they talk about it, sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. The great execute. Execution, you just one more push-up than the next man, one more free throw than the next man's willing to take. That's all you gotta do. To be great, all you got to do is just a little bit more than the next person is willing to do. And if you're willing to execute just a little bit more, if you look at Michael Jordan when he played, he made millions. And if you looked at how many points he scored, it was like 29 and the next guy was like 27, 28. What does that mean? Michael Jordan just made one more basket than the average player in the NBA. And that one more basket made him a millionaire. And I'm telling you, you're not where you want to be financially. You're not where you want to be in your personal life. And it's not going to take 20 shots. For some of you, it's one more shot. For some of you, it's two more shots. And you have not given yourself enough credit to say, I just need to get up a half hour earlier and my whole life will change. I just need to work 1 hour longer. I need to stop hitting that snooze button.
A lot of people teach about better as if it were magic, as if it would happen simply or easily. But in reality, it's not that simple. You can't just stay in the same spot and do the same things that you've always done and expect to get a different result. You've got to take action. We don't understand the human requirement in the miracles of God. We walk away with praise to God, but absolve ourselves of human responsibility. God has created us to be collaborative in the miraculous, that we have a responsibility to take action. Just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you get to pray for a job and stay at home. I'm just going to watch TV and hit the remote control. You'll never get to better if you don't get on the road. Jacob says, if you don't move, you're going to die. And don't act like God has failed you when you have failed to move. Somebody say, I'm on the road. I'm on the road to better. There's something I'm after. There's something I want to see done. And I'm tired of sitting around assessing the same old troubles and going through the same old things. I'm tired of complaining. I got to move from here. Deliver me from people who will not take action. And God says action is required on you. You got to get on the road. And God knows that some of us won't move if we're too comfortable.